Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission, well, it's pretty straightforward. We take a bunch of sources, articles, notes, you name it, and we boil it down to the key takeaways, giving you a shortcut to really understanding the topic.
Exactly, cutting through the noise.
Today, we're diving into something I think truly special. It really blurs the lines between precision watchmaking and fine art.
You're talking about the Credor GCBD997, right?
That's the one. It's not just about telling time. This is a collaboration with the Japanese painter Akira Yamaguchi. And it feels like a whole artistic, even philosophical statement on this tiny canvas.
That's really the heart of it, isn't it? Our goal here is to sort of unpack how this high-end watchmaker teams up with a major artist, how they create something that embodies a really deep cultural concept, right down to the engineering. This watch, it kind of pushes boundaries, art, precision. We're going to peel back those layers of meaning in the design.
And adding to that allure, it's incredibly rare. This is a very limited edition, mostly just for the Japanese market, which I think makes diving into it even more fascinating, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It feels like we're exploring something quite hidden, something few people will actually get to see up close.
Okay, so let's start with Credor itself. Some listeners will know it sits alongside Grand Seiko as Seiko Watch Corporation's top tier.
Right, the luxury end.
But for those maybe less familiar with Japanese watches, what really defines Credor? Why the recent buzz?
Well, Credor is all about horologery high-end watchmaking. They've definitely got a lot of attention recently with that revived locomotive
The
watch.
Gerald Genta design, yeah.
Exactly. But their reputation, it's really built on things like the Aichi models, just stunningly finished. And they're super complex pieces, minute repeaters, grande sonneries.
Wow.
It's not just about looking good, it's serious technical skill, pushing the absolute limits.
They really are. And it's interesting because so much of this happened, almost behind closed doors for a long time. Credor was a Japan domestic market brand JDM for decades.
That's right. Made them kind of legendary for collectors outside Japan.
Almost mythical, yeah. But now they are slowly opening up more globally.
Yeah.
And they have this fantastic tradition of artistic watches using these métier d'art techniques on the dials.
These incredibly skilled crafts, yeah.
Which leads us perfectly to the artist for this watch, Akira Yamaguchi. He's the painter behind this GCBD997 dial. What's his story?
So Yamaguchi, he was born in Tokyo in 1969. He graduated from Tokyo University of the Arts, got his MA in oil painting back in 96.
Okay.
And he's a big deal in Japan. He won the Kobayashi Hideo Award in 2013 for one of his books. And in 2017, he became the first ever artistic ambassador for his hometown, Kiryu City.
That's quite an honor. And his style is so recognizable.
It really is.
He uses oil painting, but in a very traditional Japanese way,
Yeah.
famous for these incredibly detailed bird's eye view city scenes, battlefield paintings.
Almost map-like sometimes, but full of narrative.
Exactly. That ability to put so much detail and story onto a surface, even a huge one, makes him, well, a fascinating choice for something as tiny as a watch dial.
And he's versatile too. Sculpture, manga, installations. He works across different media.
Right. So you've got this brand known for precision, artistry, and this artist known for intricate narrative work. Let's get into the watch itself. How does Credor actually provide the canvas here?
Well, the foundation, the case, it's actually quite restrained, which I think is deliberate. It lets the dial do the talking.
Makes sense.
It's polished steel, nice and compact, 38 millimeter diameter, and really thin, just 8.4 millimeter.
That is slim.
Yeah, curved sapphire crystal on top, 30 meters water resistance, the practical stuff.
And the back. Anything interesting happening on the case back?
It's interesting, actually. It's mostly solid, which is a bit unusual for a high-end piece these days, but there's a small, round sapphire window.
Just a peek inside.
Just a glimpse of the balance wheel assembly, the regulating organ, but the real art on the back is the engraving around it.
Ah, okay. What does that depict?
It's this beautiful geometric pattern. The description says it represents the rhythmically moving balance wheel as a moon, from with a field of silver grass spreads out. Then it kind of unravels into autumn wildflowers, flowing curves, and it eventually connects to, like, the orbits of planets or stars.
Wow, that's quite poetic. Connecting the mechanism to the cosmos.
Exactly. That link between the mechanical pulse and these vast celestial rhythms, it's a really key theme, I think. It hints at the philosophy behind it all.
Very nice touch. And speaking of the mechanics, what's driving this artwork?
It's the Credor caliber, 6899. And it is ultra thin. Seriously, it's only 1.98 millimeters thick.
1.98 millimeters. That's incredible.
It's what allows that slim 8.4 millimeter case. It's part of the Seiko 68 family, which Denny Sakosha started making way back in 1969.
So a movement with real history.
Definitely. It beats at 3 hertz. That's 21,600 vibrations per hour. Gives it a nice smooth sweep. And it has a 37-hour power reserve. Oh, and it comes on a brown crocodile strap.
Right, classic choice. Okay, so canvasette, artist introduced, ultra-thin engine inside. But the dial, that's where things get really interesting, isn't it? This is the heart of Yamaguchi's contribution.
Absolutely. This is where the whole concept comes alive. The design philosophy is called Suki Mechanical.
Suki Mechanical. What does Suki mean in this context?
Suki refers to a deep appreciation for elegance, for refinement. But here, it's more than just aesthetics. It's the whole idea.
Okay, so what's the idea?
Imagine the balance wheel, the
Oh.
ticking heart of the watch. It's not just marking time, it's seen as the source, like the origin point of movement and life. These sort of metaphorical ripples spread out from it, giving rise to everything else, all phenomena.
Whoa. So it's like a tiny mechanical representation of creation.
Kind of, yeah. It's this microcosmic picture, a wearable philosophy almost, something to contemplate when you look at the time.
That's really powerful. How on earth do you show that visually on a tiny dial? It sounds like more than just painting.
Oh, it is. The dial itself is partially opened up between about 6 and 9 o'clock, so you can see parts of the movement underneath.
Okay, skeletonized a bit.
Sort of, but here's the clever part. There's a transparent sapphire layer placed between the movement and the main dial surface.
A layer of sapphire.
Yes, and that layer is decorated with these intricate mechanical motifs, drawings, patterns on its surface.
Ah, so you're looking through decorated sapphire at the movement below? That must create some depth.
Exactly. It creates this really innovative layered effect. They used various techniques on the glass itself. It makes it seem like two-dimensional drawings and three-dimensional movement parts are sort of overlapping, shifting.
Blurring the lines?
Right. It brings that abstract idea of ripples and interconnectedness right to the forefront visually. And then Yamaguchi did something really interesting with the hour markers, the indexes.
What does he do?
He used classic index shapes, but he placed them in really unusual positions. They form this kind of rhombus pattern across the dial.
A rhombus, like a diamond shape.
Yeah, apparently it's a traditional motif in Japanese painting. He's integrated that into the time-telling function.
That sounds incredibly complex to execute. How many indexes are we talking about?
Get this. There are a total of 60 indexes, and they had to develop 11 different types of indexes to make this pattern work.
60 indexes,
Yeah.
11 types. That's meticulous, doesn't even cover it.
It's an astonishing level of detail. And they aren't just flat on the dial, they're arranged three-dimensionally.
How so?
They're designed to overlap with those rhombus patterns that are also on the dial, some perhaps printed or applied. It creates this interplay. Depending on how the light hits it, the light and shadow actually seem to reverse on the indexes and patterns.
So you get this illusion of real depth even on a totally flat surface.
Precisely. It becomes this dynamic little artwork on your wrist, constantly changing with the light. It speaks volumes about the dedication here, craftsmanship, and artistic vision.
Truly remarkable. Now, reality check time. For anyone listening who's now completely captivated,
Yes.
this is incredibly hard to get hold of, right?
Yeah, this is where the deep dive gets a little bittersweet, maybe. It's a limited edition of just 15 pieces total.
15. Wow.
And yeah, reserved for the Japanese market only.
Oof. And the price for one of those 15?
The retail price is JPY 3,300,000. That translates to roughly EUR 19,700 or around $21,000 USD, give or take, depending on exchange rates.
So serious price for a serious piece of art and engineering.
Definitely. You just have to hope Credor keeps expanding globally, So maybe more people eventually get a chance to see pieces like this.
We can hope.
So wrapping this up, the Credor GCBD997, it just beautifully merges that traditional Japanese art sensibility, the deep philosophy with this Suki Mechanical idea, and truly top-tier watchmaking.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing how much intricate thought can be packed into something so small, so wearable.
Absolutely. So for you listening, what's the takeaway here? Maybe think about how this kind of concept-driven design transforms, well, a functional object, right? A watch tells time. But this elevates it into, like you said, wearable philosophy, wearable art. It really challenges what a watch can even be.
And maybe that leaves us with a final thought to consider. How does appreciating this level of artistry, this narrative, in something as small as a watch dial, how does that change how we think about luxury or craftsmanship or even time itself?
Good question.
And maybe What other everyday things around us might be hiding these kinds of profound statements, artistic or philosophical ideas, just waiting for us to look a bit closer?